So yesterday's Eva kit was a pretty nice looking kit, and I'm really excited to build it. And I'm eager to take a look at this next one, the TV series version, as kind of a comparison of the two, because there's not aesthetically there's not a whole lot different between the two versions of Eva Unit 1. There's some slight differences in the color, some slight differences in the proportions. I've never really taken that close of a look at them side by side to really have a grasp of just how actually different they are. So I'm eager to have, a hard copy in front of me, so I'll be able to pose them side by side and really get a good look at just really, truly how different the two of them really are. Like I said, I know there's some color differences. The purple on the movie version is darker. It's more on the red side, whereas the TV series version is more on the pink, the lavender-ish side. And then there's some other color differences, some additional green here and there, and blah blah blah. But I'm eager to take a look because the other one from yesterday was really, really cool. But I have more of an attachment to the TV series version, and it'll also be interesting to see just how far Koto's engineering has come in a couple of years. The original version, the movie version rather, was released, I believe, in 2013, and the TV series version just came out like last month. So I'm very excited to see, especially once they're built, to see if there's like any significant differences in the engineering and parts fit, posability, etc. So, yeah, without further ado, let's crack this one open. I'm not quite as into the box art for this kit as I was for the other one. It's still done by the same artist, Hidetaka Tenjin, but I don't know, it just doesn't impart a sense of scale like the other one did. And it's curious, this one seems to represent two different moments from the series. From the first episode, where Unit 1 is seen tearing through an angel's AT field, basically an energy shield that they project. More to it than that, but I'm not going to bother going into that kind of detail because you probably don't care. But in the background is another image of it, kind of in silhouette, seems to be eating something, which could be one of two things that it's eating from later in the series. And yeah, it just isn't. It's not as dramatic as the other kit. So, whatever. It's box art. I don't know why I go into so much detail about box art, but usually I try to like it. Box side, similar to the other kit. Got some action pose detail. You can see the colors are a little bit different. This one is a much lighter pinkish purple than the other one, which is more of a bluish purple. But yeah, I like that you can really get a look at what kind of articulation it has. And then last one, you can see, again, same as on the other one, you got the rifle, power socket, knife, which is of a different design, and the shoulder armor, and then just your safety stuff. Coming in right off the bat, we got the bulk of the purple parts. So you got your lower legs, upper legs, mid-torso sections, parts for the feet, the bulk of the head, including the forehead crest, designed on the frame very similar, so you've got your crest and the top of the head as one component. Again, the ring around the horn is not painted. But the molding on the overall head frame and the frill, I'm really liking. It's got some neat recessed detail and some panel lines in there. There's some other panel lines here and there on the torso and on some of the arm parts. I think these are arm parts up here. Evas have never been really that well known for having a ton of surface detail, but you got a few panel lines on the leg parts here, and etc., etc. Again, also the socket for a display stand. And we've got a copyright date of 2016. Bunch of Japanese text, and then TV ver. So this is clearly a new tooling runner. I'll probably try and call out any runner that doesn't have that, because that would mean that it would be a reused runner from some other Eva kit. But more than likely, these will all have will all be marked as TV Ver. Or perhaps I spoke too soon. This one does not have the TV Ver marking, and in fact, I'd say some of these might be reused. These are mostly the internal mechanical parts. So you got your waist pieces, you got your shoulder armor pieces, hip joint components, the slider mechanism for the cockpit for the entry plug, which would slide into the slot right there. Bunch of little ball joints, bunch of little panels here and there. Yeah, again, hard to say if this would be reused. I don't think it's reused from the movie version, not from the one that we just looked at, but possibly from another Eva kit, or maybe they're intending to use this as a basic frame if they're going to do the units 0 and 2, and then any other Evas that appeared in the series. Yeah, all right. I definitely spoke too soon. None of these, neither of these two halves have the TV Ver markings on them either. We got, guessing these are parts of the head, probably for the ball joint that attaches the head to the neck, and then the back panel for it. Again, you got your teeth, same as on the previous one. You got your chest plate, which has a couple of locator holes for some armor parts that fit over top of it. You got your power socket on the back, which also looks like it might also be the same size hole as could fit a like a Tamashii stage. You got your spine armor parts. You got your forearms. Quick investigation says that these are not the same pieces as were from the movie version Eva. But again, I can't say for sure if they'll be reused with another Eva in the future or have been reused, because there's no copyright date printed on the runner. But they look real nice. They're very high gloss black. They got the nice recessed opening for the green armor plate. Lots of locator pin holes in the back. Dang it. And you got your fully enclosed ball joint cup for the hands. And I'm guessing these would be, again, for the upper arms, because there's black and green bands on the upper arms, so this would be one of those for that. We got our weapons. Now, unlike on the movie version, the pallet rifle is in two parts, left and a right half. So I don't know if it's just that this one is a fatter piece, or if for some reason they just decided it would be more stable to do it as two pieces. I'm a little curious as to why. I'm definitely going to have to compare the two side by side once these are assembled. But the details look very similar. You've still got your safety switch right there. There's a little button. There's different buttons all over the sides. I'm guessing these might be, in universe they might be like takedown pins for disassembly. But there's no rivet detail along the separation lines, unlike on the movie version. You got your power socket, your left and right half. You've got your rail for the shoulder armor for the prog knife. The prog knife itself, which, as you can see, is a very different design from the other one, looking more like just a standard combat knife than the very elaborate one that came with the other version. And then you've got, this looks like it's the frame around the entry plug socket. So this would fit over top of that black plastic frame that we looked at a minute ago, and then the entry plug would slide into there. I think this might be a cover for it. And then this, I'm not sure. I got a couple of identical runners here, so we'll just take a look at one. The shoulder armor parts. I'm guessing these, the kind of fins, these are the standard ones, whereas the ones that we saw on the runner earlier are the ones that open up for the knife to come out of. Probably elbow joint parts, shoulder joint parts, I'm guessing, knees. Not sure, maybe cup for a ball joint in the ankle, possibly, and a lot of other little just incidental joints. Kneecap, the bladed kneecap armor. All looks real nice. Not really any detail or panel lines on anything, though. We got the elbow blades. They kind of are on the backside of the arms. I don't know if they serve any purpose in universe, but they were never used as anything in the show that I can recall. They're just kind of there. Back panel armor, the whole entry plug hatch would fit into this recessed area. So we got the rear part of the entry plug hatch. Forward part, we got parts of the chest plate armor, shoulder parts, back panel pieces. These would take some little black inserts into the back of them. Yeah, again, as I said with this movie version, these kind of recessed little vents. I actually think these are mount latches, so they can be attached to rails when they're in the storage system down in Nerve headquarters. So yeah, like locking bolts would insert into those to hold them in place. We got our polycap set. Looks like the same exact polycap set as came with the other one. Neck and collar pieces. These ones don't have any pre-painting on them like the movie version did. Because these would be the parts on the movie version that did have the pre-painting. They kind of flank the central neck armor part. And again, same with that one. I'm not sure what these are. These might be like they flank the rest of the neck. I'm not really sure. I think they might be like kind of the shoulder blade area. Feet, bottom of the feet again. Like the other one, these ones seem to wear lifts. Considering the scale, that's about 2 millimeters. These would be 400th scale, so that would be 800 millimeters. That'd be 80 centimeters. That'd be just about a meter. You could lie down under that, and in that little crevasse, you could lay down underneath it and probably not even get touched. But nice panel detailing. Looks like they'll fit together nicely, and you'll have the nice. I didn't mention before, but you got the separated toe and heel and ball of the foot, so you have a mid-toe pivot. Shoulder parts. So yeah, these will take the internal mechanism for the shoulder joint inside, and allow your shoulder, your mid bicep swivel, as well as all of your other jointing in the shoulder. So looks good. That black part from before that I thought might have been like a collar for the black forearm probably slips over here once those are assembled. And frames for the shoulder armors. Not much to say. I think that is a thruster. I think I remember that being a thruster in the show someplace. And this is part of the collar assembly. Now this is interesting. Instead of having hands on a runner, the hands are all separated. Not pre-painted, curiously. All of these blocks on the knuckles are supposed to be gray, with a red dot on the index finger, and I believe on the thumb as well. So curious that those wouldn't have been pre-painted. Equally curious that they're not molded on a runner, and they're kind of a flexible, rigid PVC. So that's interesting. But yeah, you got your 8 hands. So fists, standard gripping, splayed fingers, kind of looser gripping hands. And then one additional trigger hand. There might be another hand in there someplace that I might have missed, but I'm guessing this one is probably just does double duty for the prog knife and the rifle. And you got your eyepiece with your printed eyes, same as on the other one. They're very dramatic white on black, and then your chin with the green painted chin detail. Not sure where these are supposed to go. Some just additional universal joints. Probably shoulders. Not quite sure. But, yeah, they look good. Standard universal joints. These are those collars that I should have been talking about. I thought they were supposed to be black, and then, but they're yeah, purple on the top, green in the middle, black on the bottom, I believe, for the shoulder assemblies. But yeah, nice to see that they're doing like the full single piece, cleaning up the sprue scar, and the separation line shouldn't be too hard to make those look very seamless. And finally, we got the entry plug, which cursory glance tells me this is a different mold from the other one. If you remember, the other one had the little angled swish lines in the top there. This one seems to have a lot more of them, and the overall shape of it looks to be a little bit different. But yeah, I won't be able to know for sure until I put them side by side to compare them. Power cable for the power socket looks to be longer than the other one. This one looks like it's a good 18, maybe 20 inches long. And marking sheet, Eva 01 test, Eva 01 test, for each one, for one for the outside of the arms, one for the inside of the arms, and then for the shoulders. Curiously, there's not a marking for the back of the head. I remember there always being the number 1 printed on the back of the Eva's head. But whatever. Instruction booklet, same style as the other one. Looks like it's the exact same printing, just with a different Nerve logo and the TV series Evangelion logo on the back, as opposed to the movie logo. Okay, so this is really probably the first look at the TV series version Eva. You can see it's chunkier in the midsection, broader shoulders, and shorter, stockier legs, whereas the movie version is very lean in the torso, has narrower shoulders, and much longer legs proportionally. Shinji Ikari, pilot, 14 years old. There's some other screenshots from the show. This is it in the lock bay. You can see these are the locking mechanisms that would plug into those holes in the shoulders that I mentioned. And there it is, very angry. Mommy's very angry. Some shots of the assembled model posed. And you got your parts callouts, you got your runner replacement order form, and presumably assembly goes the same way as the other one. Starts with the arms, and then the legs, and then the head, torso, starting with the shoulders, and then onto the entry plug mechanism, then moving down the body into the waist, and then the shoulder armors, and then onto the weapons. And very specifically calls out that it can use like an action-based type or a Tamashi stage, and that it can use either socket. I'm not sure, I didn't notice if there was a plug to fill this socket in the butt, essentially. If there is, great. If not, I feel like that's kind of a missed opportunity. And it kind of tells me there's a very good reason why they photoshopped these two together like that, because now you can't see the butt plate to see if there is, in fact. I don't see any photos of this thing that show the rear arm, the butt armor plate, to see if there is, in fact, a hole covering it or not. But that is the TV series version. So it's hard to say for sure without comparing them directly side by side once they're assembled. But I'd say it's a pretty safe bet that these don't share any parts in common besides the polycap set and maybe like some incidental parts like the shoulder joints, or like some of the other like universal joints in the hips or knees or something. But yeah, based on just a quick glance, just a quick look through the box, I would say that these are completely unique kits. Their heights and proportions and overall details are probably very different from one another. If you just glance from one to the other, you'd say, yeah, it's the same thing. But if you look close up, they're the devil's in the details, really. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to get these things put together. I was really surprised to see the pre-painted parts on the movie version, and then the individually molded PVC hands in the TV series version. Though definitely disappointed that the knuckles were left unpainted, considering all the other stuff that was painted. But you know, whatever. I got a steady hand and a good fine tip paintbrush. I can handle painting that myself. I've done it before. So that's all I've got for Eva stuff. If I like these two, I might order some of the other Eva kits, or maybe tackle some of Bandai's later Evangelion kits, because they've done a couple from the first and I think the third movies. I think somehow Koto got their hands on the license for the TV series and the second movie only. But Bandai still had the license for the first and third movies, and I'm not sure about the upcoming fourth movie. I have no idea. But I'm very interested to see how these are different from Bandai's. Obviously, Bandai's wouldn't have the pre-painted parts, because they never ever do that. I'm not sure I've ever known Bandai to do a pre-painted parts on a kit. Maybe. I don't remember. Nothing's coming to mind. But anyway, I'm very eager though to get these assembled, and time permitting, I'm going to try to do that this week. In the meantime, though, next up we're going to take a look at some new stuff from Bandai's Macross line, starting with the VF25 tomorrow-ish, hopefully. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. We'll get that one out of the way, and then we'll move on to the VF31, and then on to the Tamiya F14, and hopefully by then the Tall Geese 3 will come out, and I'll be able to review that one and do that with the series as well. So thanks everyone out there for watching, and happy modeling.